Okay. Okay, welcome to this week's movement video. So, because Solstice is coming up, and I am, like, basically, if you haven't figured it out, I'm pretty much a sun worshiper. And what I mean is that I love to honor the sun and the cycles and the patterns that affect us on our planet. And so this is from a book that's called The Return of the Light. And it's by Carolyn McVickar Edwards. I'm not as good as reading upside down as I thought I once was. And it's all these cute stories from around the world about the winter solstice. So winter solstice is the darkest day of the year. It's when the day is shortest and the sun shines the shortest. And for me, it feels true and accurate that in the wintertime, the darkness sort of sends me inward, and there's that kind of question about my own shadow and my own darkness that's like, is it ever going to get brighter? Is it ever going to get not so heavy? Is there that moment of bright light that's going to come and shine and help me to realize that this is just my shadow? And I'll let that. But so the story is named The Girl Who Married the Sun, and it's a story from, I don't know how to pronounce that, Luhya, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda. And it's, you know, all these stories are like legends and stories. So I just invite you to get comfortable and just to open up and just sort of let the story wash through you and see where and if there's a place that can relate in a metaphorically way to the story. One morning, long before the pounding of the maize in the martyrs had begun, a girl resolved for days not to marry a man she didn't love, sneaked away from her village. No matter how many cattle he has, she said to herself. By early in the evening, the girl was miles into a thick forest. Finally exhausted, she fell forward into a clearing. There, in the miserable twilight, she lay, twisted and hungry, on the ground. She was free, but she was also alone. What would become of her? At first, the girl did not notice the rope wobbling gently above her, descending directly from the sky. But then suddenly she saw it hanging like a great umbilicus above her. Hesitating, her heart pounding, she grasped it. Instantly she was lifted into the heavens. Thump! She landed in bright daylight next to a heap of marrow-sucked bones at the edge of a strange village. The girl felt her limbs. They were whole. The ground at this trash heap seemed solid. Satisfied but nervous, she squatted, unsure of what to do next. Then a regal old woman appeared. The girl cast down her eyes respectfully. "Who are you?" asked the woman. "I am from a faraway village," replied the girl in a low voice. "You are beautiful, child," said the old woman, reaching out her hand. "Stay with me. I am Sun's mother." The girl said nothing. She imagined her family at home, sitting together, eating corn cakes and yams, and wondering where she had gone. Tears stood in her eyes. "Come," said the Sun's mother. The girl allowed herself to be led to the house of Sun. She found it stored with sweet potatoes, bananas, and beans. While the girl feasted, the old woman told her again how beautiful she was. "My son is chief," she said. "He will want to marry you." The girl stopped eating. Had she escaped a forced wedding only to be trapped again? She kept her eyes down. "I cannot marry a chief," she said politely. Thinking the girl merely modest, the mother encouraged her. "Wait for him in the garden, child. But you must not be afraid or cry if something very red and bright appears before you." In the garden, the girl ate a plump fig. Suddenly, the place was blinding as lightning. Sun had returned, and the girl covered her face. Sun was enchanted with the girl's smooth, dark skin. He welcomed her immediately as his new bride. The girl said nothing and did not raise her face. Next day, Sun sent his chief servant Moon to speak to the girl. Moon told her of Sun's warmth and kindness. How honored Sun would be to take you into his family, said Moon. The girl was silent. For the next 6 weeks, Sun continued to send servants to talk to the girl. Evening Star told her how happy the other wives of the sun were. Morning Star told her how rich was Sun's land. The girl would not reply. She only ate and thought and dreamed. And she watched Sun from a distance. But even when Sun sent her something of all that grew in his land, the girl was not yet ready to speak. Finally, in the 7th week, Sun decided to give her his own rays. He took them to the girl himself, along with a huge, smooth pot. The girl's heart was pounding. She took Sun's rays and put them into the pot. Then the girl opened her mouth. Her face was shining. "I will marry you, Sun," she said. The people in the land of the sun sang and danced and grew fat at the wedding feast. In time, the girl, now a young woman, had 3 children. She grew to love them and her husband, his wives, and her mother-in-law. Unbeknownst to her, however, her happiness was not matched on earth. For Sun's rays, shut away in the giant pot, no longer shone in the world below the sky. One day, the young woman made plans to visit her family. "For 3 days only, my beloved," said Sun, "I will let you go." Sun dropped another rope out of the sky, on which the woman and her servants clung, laden with presents. The woman's family was huddled by a fire when she arrived. Hardly recognizing her, they were amazed to see her. They had given her up for dead long before. From her mode of travel, they saw immediately that she was no ordinary daughter. So they sacrificed not an ordinary ox, but one of perfect white. They poured a portion of blood at their spirit daughter's feet. They roasted the rich meat, and all the people, heavenly and earthly, ate their fill. The woman and her family rejoiced. The unspoken stories of years pouring out of their mouths. "Oh, daughter, we would be completely happy," said her parents, "if only we had light as we did before you were lost." But at the end of 3 days, when the woman and her servants made ready to return to heaven, the rope caught them up so quickly that she had no time to say goodbye. Full of sorrow and joy at once, the woman rushed to the pot in which she had hidden away her husband's rays. She snatched off the lid, and brilliant light once again showered earth below. "All my family and all my village, my husband," she said, "are happy at the return of your day." Sun looked tenderly at his young wife. "Then I will send my servant to light the night sky too." And so it is that to this very day that the moon serves not only sun, but also earth.